An Orlando police officer is now off duty after a bizarre incident where he was caught speeding, not stopping for a deputy, and even leaving the scene of a traffic stop. And it gets even crazier when you hear the details. This all went down in Seminole County, Florida. According to an arrest report from the Seminole County Sheriff's Office, a deputy spotted a marked Orlando Police Department SUV speeding down Florida Avenue. It was said to be going at least 80 miles per hour. The speed limit on that road was only 45. And here's the kicker. No sirens or lights were on. So this clearly wasn't an emergency. The body camera footage tells a story that's really hard to believe. As the SUV goes zooming by the deputy, he wastes no time in pursuing it. The deputy quickly turned on his sirens and lights, trying to get the driver to pull over.
Over 100 miles an hour trying to catch up with this butthead. He's the guy that,
But the Orlando police SUV just kept going.
This one or this
yeah, 11070.
At that point, the deputy had no choice but to pull his own vehicle in front of the speeding officer to force him to stop.
You gonna pull over?
Please say a command.
Pull over.
There are so many things wrong with this situation. Emergency vehicles have sirens and flashing lights for a reason. They alert people in advance that a speeding vehicle is about to enter the area. It also warns everyone that there is an emergency and these vehicles have the right of way. Bottom line, those sirens and flashing lights are for the safety of all involved. So what was his reason for not following protocol? Let's hear his explanation.
My right.
3113 to 313.
What?
Do you?
I am going into work, my man. Why are you trying to pull me over as I'm going into work?
Because you're going 80 and a 45.
I am going into work.
Okay, what are you going
what
to
does
work
it look
for?
like I am dressed for?
So his excuse for speeding is that he is on his way to work. And apparently he feels that wearing a police uniform entitles him to drive as fast as he wants. But if you think that's bad, watch what happens next.
What does it look like I am dressed for?
My name is Deputy Hilton and they see your driver's license.
No.
Okay. 3113, copy at 1050. 10-4, I got a city, Orlando PD taking off from a traffic stop. It's going to be X-ray Foxtrot 6207, XF 6207. You refuse to stop.
www.syncmyright.
Instead of handing over his license, the officer refuses. And then, in a shocking move, he gets back in his SUV and drives off, leaving the deputies standing in disbelief. At this point, the deputy is obviously frustrated and calls for backup. The Orlando Police Department quickly responded to the situation. They confirmed that the officer involved was relieved of duty while both the sheriff's office and Orlando police conduct internal investigations. And things aren't looking good for this officer. He's facing several charges, including reckless driving, fleeing and eluding law enforcement, and resisting an officer without violence. So, what do you think about this? Should this officer face harsher consequences? One thing we can all agree on. Even police officers don't like being pulled over for speeding. Imagine checking into a 5-star hotel and booking a luxurious room just for the night. But what if that night turned into months? And not only that, what if you managed to stay for over 600 nights without paying a single penny? This is the strange, Almost unbelievable story of how one man in India turned a simple hotel visit into a massive con that left everyone in total shock. It started like any other hotel check-in at the Roseate House, one of the most exclusive hotels in Delhi. A man walks into the hotel, booking a room for just one night. His name was on the guest list, but over the course of the next year, he somehow managed to stay in the hotel for more than 600 nights. During that time, he enjoyed all the amenities afforded any other guest. But how does one stay at a hotel for over 600 days, especially at a place like the Roseate House? Well, the man wasn't paying for it. So how did he get away with it? It turns out, the answer lies within the very hotel he was staying at. The key suspect in this entire scheme was the head of the front office department. This was the person in charge of deciding room rates, checking guests in, and managing the hotel's billing system. The man knew exactly how to exploit his access. But he wasn't the only one involved in this scheme. Other staffers were in on it too. And some of them were bribed to cover up his tracks. What they did was simple, yet incredibly effective. They altered the hotel's in-house billing system, transferring his unpaid room charges to the bills of other guests. They even erased the nights he stayed from his bill altogether, making it seem like he was either paying or not staying there at all. After months of this deceit, it became impossible to ignore the missing money. Over the course of his stay, the man racked up a bill of over $70,000. And yet never paid a dime. That's when the management at Roseate House took action and filed a police complaint. The case quickly escalated into an investigation involving the hotel's management and staff, who were accused of conspiracy, forgery, and cheating. The police have been questioning the staff, trying to unravel the details of how this scam went on for so long without detection. As embarrassing as it is for the luxury hotel to be at the center of this scandal, it's also a massive blow to its reputation. But even after the police got involved, Roseate House has kept quiet, refusing to release further updates on the case. This story of fraud proves that even in a world where security measures are quite sophisticated, it's still pretty easy for a few corrupt individuals to exploit a system.